Hello, good evening. It's Monica from Life is Art and Scrap. It's almost Monday. Let's create. We are going to be working on layout today, and we're going to be using the Dream Maker collection, which is the collection for National Scrapbooking Month, and it's available right now. It's a gorgeous collection, and you're going to see some items from that. And so if you are joining me live this evening, just say hello or howdy so I know you're here. And if you're watching later, you can just say replay. So it's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms and fur moms and stepmoms and grandmoms and people who had moms and all the everything. It's a great day just to celebrate life and all those things. And so I'm actually going to be scrapbooking some pictures of me and my mom. In fact, it's from the day we met, and so that's exciting. I have some pictures from when I was born, and so that's what we're going to be scrapbooking today. But we're going to be using the Dream Maker collection, and this particular paper is really very beautiful from the collection. I love sort of that watercolor look of the stripes of sort of rainbow colors, and then there's even some splattering and things going on here, and it looks really pretty, and it's like all the mixed media fun stuff, but it's already done for you. Yay! So I'm going to be using this as my base page, and I'm actually going to be turning it sideways. The zip strip was actually across this side, so you would assume this would be the top, but I am going to turn it sideways just to be a little different, just because, and we're going to start building on that. And now, the first thing I want to do is show you some pictures. So, like I said, this is from the day that I met my mom. Yeah, that's my mom and me when I was just a wee new thing, and at the hospital. And so there's me in a little crib at the hospital. I know it's me and not my brother because it's got a pink blanket. And then here's another shot of me and my mom. Look it. Oh, so cute. I don't know whatever happened. But anyway, so we've got some beautiful photos. And I thought they kind of went with these nice sort of softish colors that have been created with this watercolor base page. And I'm going to bring in some of the coordinating cardstock for photo mats. Now, these are older photos and they have rounded corners. So I'm actually going to round the corners on my photo mats to match. And so I've chosen to do my photo mats in 3 different colors, kind of keeping with our rainbow theme. And you can see that these coordinating cardstocks are patterned. They look like they have alcohol ink swirled all across them. And the back side is just plain. But the front side has this lovely pattern. They're all different. So I've got the Ballerina, Sundance, and Glacier, I believe. I think that's the Glacier one, yes. So the Glacier or Lagoon, but I think it's Glacier. It's a different color. So these are the 3 that I'm going to use for my photos. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stick my photos onto my photo mats. And just like that, and that. And my photos, because they're older, are slightly different size than normal. So, just for the sake of sizes, these are 4 3/8 by 3.5. So I have cut my photo mats to 4 5/8 by 3 3/4. And so I can, go ahead and center this in the center of my photo mat, like so. I didn't get it very good in the center, did I? It's a little off the side, but that's okay. Maybe we'll make them all off the side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners. Now, you could use a corner rounder for this, but I just use my scissors. That's how I roll. There we go. Rounding the corners. You want to pivot your paper when you're doing this. I have a corner rounder, and I have tried to use it, but I usually mess it up. For some reason, me and my corner rounder do not get along. And so that's why I just use my scissors. It's one of those things, one of those skills I have not learned. I have not perfected the art of the corner rounder. Hey, Robin, nice to see you're watching. How are you this evening? And we're going to add this one to the Sundance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of have the colors kind of match the background colors. You know what I did that was wrong is I was trying to put that one on with two hands in the way. And that never works out for me. I get too many hands in the way. It's better just to use one hand to stick it on there. And then we'll round the corners on this one. Like that. And that. And this. And one more corner. Oh, so I don't know about the weather where you are, but the weather here was fabulous today. My husband and I were sitting out on the porch for quite a while. This morning, we had our lunch out there. It was nice. I made some fresh homemade bread today, and I made some egg salad. So we had some egg salad sandwiches. We went out and sat on the porch, and that was nice. Two of my kids were away all day with Air Cadets doing different things. In fact, one of them isn't even home yet because for some reason they planned activities happening on Mother's Day. I'm not sure who thought of that, but that's okay. The other one wasn't feeling great, so it was a very low-key day, but that's okay. We got to enjoy some sunshine. So there we go. We've rounded all the corners. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to stick these down onto our layout. And I was trying to decide if I was going to do them straight or wonky. And I think I'm actually going to do them straight. I'm going to attempt to do them straight. You know me, we might just get them a little wonky. So, and I'm going to kind of try and keep my adhesive away from this right hand edge. And you'll see why as we go along. We're going to do some embellishing. I also want to make sure that I don't go too far to the left because I'm going to be stamping my title on here. And I definitely do not want to conflict with that. You know what? Maybe I should stamp my title on first. Because sometimes we say, you know, we'll stamp it on there last. And then we make a boo-boo. So I'm going to be using the Dream Maker stamp set for this, and I'm going to be using this one. I haven't used it yet. It's the great big one that says Always, and it's actually got text inside the letter, which I think is super fun. So let me pull this out. This stamp set, when you're looking online, it's actually a double stamp set. So there's this whole side with all the words, and then when you flip it over, there's a whole nother side with some florals, and then some fun, like, mixed media, like, stamps that we have been using and enjoying. We were using those during the crop last weekend. Okay, so let's get this big word here, the word always. And always, whenever removing a stamp from your carrier sheet, especially when it's a brand new stamp, you want to peel it carefully, and I always like to walk my fingers along the stamp so that I make sure every little bit comes along with it. Because when they're brand new like this, they're super good and sticky. So they're going to stick really well to your block. So you want to just take your time with that. Give it a minute to relax. And then pick it up with your block. And because this is brand new, we're going to need to season it. And to do that, you just rub it on your hand or rub it on your arm. And that kind of removes any factory oils that might be on there still that will keep it from getting a nice coating of ink when you go to stamp it. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Lagoon ink for this, and that is the bottom color here on our pattern background. My brain stopped for a second there. So I'm going to ink this up off to the side here. Sorry, I'm out of the screen, I can tell. Ink it up. Make sure I'm getting good ink everywhere. Like so, because this is a one and done deal here. If I really mess it up, I have a second page. So if it's a real real big mess, then we can take a second run at it. So there we go. We've got it on there. I should have flipped my Versamat over so I could stamp on the squishy side. And, you know, all those things. Oh, it lifted. I better stop. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that fun? Lovely. And then I also want to grab the Love You little stamp here. Put it down. Pick it up. Put it down, pick it up. Put it down, pick it up. And we're going to ink this up as well. Same color. Just like that. And now I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to actually move everything. Begging your pardon. Just so I can get it lined up. There we go. Now, that's better. Sorry, had to bring it closer to my face. Alrighty. Let me just move that ink out of the way without hiding my embellishments. Let's see if we got ourselves back in the center now. It always takes a moment for the camera to catch up with me, so I always have to move in increments because it's not quite as fast as I am. Like one more little notch there. There we go. So we've got our Love You Always, which I think is really cute when it's a mom and a kid. We've got this one all ready to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it down here like this. Right? Like that. And then I'm going to take my bottom one and I'm going to stick it on too. So that we have, that way we know how much space we have. And I forgot that I was going to leave a gap there. But that's okay. We'll work around it. Whenever you think you're going to tuck things underneath, you should always try to leave a little bit of space where there's no adhesive on the back. So let's line this up. We're at just past 5.5. And then we can put this one here, this one here, this one here, like so. Sometimes I'm careful and I line it up with a ruler. Sometimes I'm not so careful and I make it wonky on purpose. That's how we say it. Hey, Ellie. Good evening. Happy Mother's Day. So for those of you who are watching, did you do anything special today or just enjoyed the day? Let's line this up. We can kind of stick it in between the other two photos now that we have our spacing. Looking good. Ah, look at that. All nice and straight. Love it. Love it. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to bring in some of the zip strips. There are some fantastic zip strips in this collection, and I have gone ahead and I have cut the zip strips into some little short pieces. I didn't even measure them. They're about 1 3/4 inches. And what I tried to do was to match zip strips with colors. So you see how I've got sort of the dark rosy color here, which, hint, hint, is a new color that's coming out next year. They always give us a little sneak peek with these National Scrapbooking Month collections. And then this particular zip strip with these dashed lines here, let me lift them up. It had all of the different colors on it. So I just cut out whichever chunks suited the color that I was working on. Isn't that cool? So I was able to get a lot of different colors. And then this particular zip strip had a whole bunch of different sayings across it. So I've got this one that says, "Bring happiness." I thought that was cute. This one here has little Sundance suns. And I've dovetailed the end of these. And let me see, I've got a few more. Here's another one that's going from the orange to the yellow. And then I've also got some of the Lagoon and Glacier ones as well. So let me just Get those on there like that. So what I'm going to do with these is I'm going to kind of tuck them under the edge of the photos in pairs or in triples like that. Okay, so let's get those tucked on first, and then we're going to add some other embellishments. And you have actually seen these embellishments before because we created them during the 007 crop. So if you were following along with the crop, you're going to see those embellishments coming back again. Now I want to make sure when I stick this down that I'm not off the edge of my page, like that. And I think using the zip strips and the little embellishments we created is a really, really fun, easy way to get a really nice amount of detail on our page. I mean, our background is already gorgeous to begin with. We don't have to do a whole lot, and we've already created some embellishments, so why not use them? All right, so then let's stick this one down first, the Bring Happiness, and you can tell that I'm kind of gauging my, you know what, maybe we'll stick that one there so we can see the whole word. This one we're just going to tuck right under the photo like that, because otherwise our words were going to get chopped off. We can sneak around like that, can't we? Maybe we'll do that for all three of these. Just tuck them under the photo, like so, rather than under the matting. We can totally do that. And like that. I think those are super fun. Kind of going with that rainbow gradient theme. And let's get these guys. I didn't do any of my adhesive ahead of time. I know a few of you have taken a look at this collection, and I think a few of you have even purchased this collection. So I like giving you guys ideas of what you can do with it once you've got it. So there we go. Adding that one. And that one might actually sort of disappear a little bit, and that's okay. Totally okay. Because we're going to do some little decorating along here, as well as our zip strips. All right, one last one. Look at that. That looks already a bit fun, doesn't it? Let me lift that up so you can get a good look. So there's our stamped sentiment, or our stamped title, Love You Always, and then we have our fun gradient of zip strips going down there. I loved, as I was looking at all the zip strips, I was like, oh my goodness, they're in all the different colors. It's perfect. So why not? Now, you will remember from the crop, if you were watching, that we stamped and did some sort of little mixed media without doing anything messy. We created some flowers. We created some leaves. Let me show you the leaves. We've got some leaves like this. Now these ones I went ahead and did with a different color. The original ones we did with the periwinkle ink. But for this layout, I decided to go ahead and make some using the Lagoon because I wanted it to match a little bit better than that. Okay, so I just went and did the exact same process. Let me grab it, the stencil, so you can see. So here we have the Dream Maker stencil, and the one part of the stencil is these large, I'm just waiting to see where it catches in the light, large leaves right here in this quadrant. And then there's dots and a grid, and then these ones here. I'm never sure how to describe them. They're like angled stripes. So I went ahead and I did the exact same process creating these that we used before. And I've got the flowers as well. But you remember when we were making a card during the crop as well, we used the embellishments we had made, but we kind of jazzed them up by adding a little bit of doodling with our gel pen. So today we're going to jazz them up again, because instead of just having them plain like this, I want to add a little bit more color. So let me scooch this out of the way. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring in, let me see, this one and this one and this one and this one. And what we're going to use today to jazz them up and make them a little bit different from how we created them is we're going to use some of our watercolor pencils. Now, we're not going to use them with water. We're going to use them just as you would a pencil crayon. And so the process that I go through when I'm creating with pencil crayons is, first you got to find the colors that are going to match from amongst your pencil crayons as close as you can. And so this is the one that I have chosen for matching the Lagoon. And what I like to do is I like to take my pencil crayon and a scrap piece of paper, and I like to just draw for a second on the scrap piece of paper until I get a nice flat edge on my pencil crayon, because if I go to color and I have a sharp edge, I'm going to get coloring like that. Okay? But if I use a flat edge, by just coloring like that, then when I color, I'm going to get a coloring situation like this. So let me see if that's showing up on the camera well. So this one looks kind of pointed and scratchy, and this one gives you nice smooth color. And it's the nice smooth color that we want today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I've got that flat edge, and then I'm going to come in and color. And with pencil crayon, the trick is to just kind of make it as smooth as possible. That's why you want that flat edge. And put a layer on. Okay? And once you've got one layer on, then about 2/3 of the petal, I'm going to go over again with a second layer. And you can even push a little harder with your watercolor pencil. And then the last third, I'm going to color a third time and give it a little extra color. And what that does is it gives you a gradient in color. So the edge of your leaf or your petal that's only had one layer is lighter, the second layer is darker, and then the third layer is the darkest. I could try to avoid the little stamens in the center, but I didn't really do it. Okay, so find your flat edge again, and you're going to color over your whole petal lightly one time, like that. And then we're going to do the 2/3 a second time, adding a little more color. And then we're going to do the last third a third time, adding even more color. And then we're going to turn and we're going to go again. And that's the process that I use when I want to color with pencil crayons. Now, if you're wanting to do it where you're really getting a good blend and all that jazz, you can come in with a white pencil crayon after the fact and burnish it with that. There are a bunch of other methods that you can use too. I like the white pencil crayon the best, or the watercolor pencil, but I don't want to do that. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I think it looks pretty, and it suits me just fine. The other thing you can do is you can activate your watercolor. You can use a clear shimmer brush to activate it, or you can use a water brush to activate it. Now this one is the Sundance, and so I've got this yellow pencil crayon. I'm going to find my flat spot, and I'm going to go through the same process. I'll go a little quicker this time. So 1, 2, 3, spin, 1, 2, and if you don't cover your whole flower, it's okay. It's mixed media-y, it's, you know, it's all good. You can have lighter spots and darker spots. There we go. And then 1. If you go outside the lines, it's also good. It's okay. 2 and 3. There we go. And then let me see. We've got some pink here. And I think this is the melon. These are two different colors, but they look so similar. Okay, we're going to color this one up. 1, 2, 3. And we're just giving our flowers a different look. And this is a good thing to do, because if you've created a lot of embellishments that you want to use on several projects, adding little extra touches on each project to make them different, like the doodling with the black pen and the watercolor pencils or watercolor paint, or adding other inks, it's all building up and creating something different. So if you have, a few pages in your book that have similar embellishments, they won't look all the same if you've done something different for each one, right? They'll be the same sort of shape and they'll have similar things, but there's something unique about each one. And that's nice as you're flipping through your book, or even when you're just creating cards. You don't want to necessarily make everything always the same. So it's good to have different techniques to add color and texture to things. So there we go. Now, I have obviously done a few ahead of time so that you didn't have to sit here and watch me color all night, although some people find that relaxing. You might have other things you want to do this evening. So let's go ahead and we're going to figure out where we want to add these embellishments. I've got some little leaf here like that. And I've got, let me see, I've got this guy right there and there. And I'm just trying to decide if I'm going to tuck them or put them on top, but I think I like how they're looking tucked under there, but let's see. Oh, they're also pretty that way too. Maybe we'll go with that. Alrighty. First, I like to put them on dry so that I can see what it's going to look like before I do the, the final nod, the final yes. That's how I want it. So let's just tuck a few more on here like this. And maybe one over here like that. And I think this one, I want to trim it down. Where's my scissors? There's my scissors. I don't want the entire leaf thing happening here. So I'm just going to trim off, and actually I'm going to trim this little guy off, and I can use those on something else. And I'm just going to add those little leaves like that. I'm going to tuck them in there so we can still see that little tag popping out. And then we've got a couple of these smaller leaves that we created. All right, so let's get those stuck down. I think I'll use liquid glue for that, just because it's quick and easy. So let's stick. When I do this, I like to just add glue along the stem, like that. And I can tuck that right in there. Make sure it's not hanging over the edge of my layout. And then we'll stick this little guy down, like that. And tuck this little one under there. So pretty. I like what's happening with that little extra color that we added just by doing the watercolor pencil on there. I really like how that's looking. What do you guys think about that little extra zip of color? I think it's pretty pretty. Let's add our little leafies. And our flower. So pretty. I'm going to tuck those in after. Let's add this Lagoon one. Like that. Tuck this little one under here. Kind of in between. So for those, sometimes when I'm thinking about embellishments, I always think, oh, I don't want to make too many ahead because I don't know how many I'll need. And, then I'll make too many and I won't have what I want, or it won't be in the color I want. But I like this technique that we used to create these particular ones, because although they started out the same, there is still a lot of option for adding extra color and a little extra something onto them. So let's see, this little guy here, we're going to stick him on here. We're going to just stick him right on there. We're not even going to make the pile of flowers. We're just going to stick him on. There we go. I want him coming right over to the white part there. And then I've got a bunch of flowers here that I colored up ahead of time. Let me see. Yeah, that's looking good. And then we've got a couple extra leaves that we can tuck in. Trying to grab that one. Okay. Sorry, got an itchy hand. Whew. Let's see what we're going to do. We've got some big flowers, some little flowers. And then we've got some leaves. And I'm going to go and stick the leaf down. And down here, I thought might be a nice spot for adding some journaling. So we can do that later. Yes, that's looking good. Let's add some glue. There we go. We'll get our big ones down first. Like that. And then our little ones. The thing about adding just the glue at the stems and at the centers is that it allows, see how it's kind of popping up like that? It allows some lift and dimension without adding any foam tape. And I kind of like that. You know what? I'm trying to think whether I want to add one more. And I think I kind of do. Either that or I want to add another leaf. Maybe I'll add another leaf. Because this other leaf here kind of got disappeared. This is where you get into the decisions. So many decisions. I think just this leaf. And maybe one more leaf. Remember these leaves that we trimmed off? We're going to grab this little guy right here. Doesn't even matter if I cut it weird, because that'll be the side we tuck right under. Like that. Nice. Looks good. Alrighty, and then, but wait, there's more. We also have our gorgeous sticker sheet, and I think I want to grab this little dragonfly right here, and tuck that right there like that. Isn't that so pretty? And actually, when I was going through here, I was looking at all of these gorgeous words, thinking I might add some words along here. But we've got this little bring happiness here. So I think that's fine. We'll just stick with the butterfly. But I do want to add a little bit more embellishing. So I want to add some glitter gems in amongst my flowers. And I was trying to decide if I'm actually going to add them in the center of the flowers or just amongst the flowers. So let me grab a piercing tool. There we go. And let's maybe add on our little guys some little glitter gems. Aren't they so pretty? Some silver glitter gems. Like that. Oh, I had just enough. Look at that. Lovely. And then we also have some larger ones. So we could tuck them in. I don't know if I want to do them in the center of all the flowers. Yeah, why not? Let's add them in the center of all the flowers. Then they all have a place. They all have a reason. Sometimes you just need a reason, right? We're keeping our embellishments pretty simple on here. And then maybe we'll add just a little bit of sparkle there too. There we go. Okay, now the other thing I was looking at is the silver embellishing thread, which is a retired item. I don't even know, I don't think there's any left on the website, but I'm sure some of you have it. So I thought I would add a little bit, and of course this is always super fun because it always comes off very crinkly. Look at that crinkle in there. So all you do is just take the back of your scissors, and just like you would make curling ribbon go curly, you can use it to uncrinkle your embellishing thread like so. And then you can get yourself a little twizzle of embellishing thread like that. And you're going to need a glue dot for this. Glue dots are important when using embellishing thread. So what you want to do is you want to kind of mess around with your thread however you want to put it, and then stick it right down in the glue dot like this. And this can be a little bit tedious, but it'll get there. And then what you want to do, oh, we lost an end. Let's stick that down in, and you can kind of mess it around. And then I want to use my piercing tool to just pick up that glue dot, because you're never going to successfully go anywhere with it with your hands. I can tell you that right now. And then go somewhere where you can tuck it right under, and then pinch it and pull your piercing tool out, and then there you go. You've got your little cluster of embellishing thread there. So let's do another one, because if one is pretty, then two must be even more pretty, right? Now I've got my ends tangled up. Let me undo this end too. There we go. If you are somebody who does embroidery or cross stitch, you know all about the fun of getting things off of these little paper spools. All right, we want the long end. One of these ends is longer than the other. There we go. And then we can twirl this up. And you can, I always use my 2 fingers. But if you want to make it bigger, you can use 3 fingers or just spread your fingers a little bit farther apart. And that kind of gives you the guide for making some nice little loops. Some people like to just kind of get a bunch of it and crumple it up in their hand and make it really haphazard. I never end up being able to get it into the glue dot if I do that. So let's take our thing and kind of give it a little ruffle there. I've kind of got it in an awkward spot. Let me switch hands. That might help. I'm a righty, not a lefty. And stick it in the glue dot. Make it sure it's on there. And then, again, I like to come from the side where I'm going to be pulling my piercing tool out and picking it up that way. And let me see. I think we might, trying to decide if it's going to go there or maybe under here. Yeah, maybe we'll go under this photo here. Just like that. Because there's no flowers there. So maybe it needs a little something extra. And there we go. Look at that. I think that's gorgeous. Alrighty, so we started with our base page of that very gorgeous rainbow watercolor splattery paper from the Dream Maker collection. We added the coordinating cardstocks with those lovely alcohol ink patterns as mats under our photos, rounding the corners to match the photos. Then we used all the different various colors of the zip strips, coordinating with the colors in the background to create a rainbow of embellishments. Then we added the embellishments that we made during the crop that were stenciled and stamped, and then touched them up with a little bit of color using our watercolor pencils, just to add a little bit more color to the flowers themselves, adding in our silver glitter gems for a little bit of sparkle, and stamping on our title, Love You Always, from the Dream Maker stamp set, a little bit of stickers from the sticker sheet, and some silver embellishing thread. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing that layout come together. I hope you're inspired to create using the Dream Maker collection. It's gorgeous. And I hope you have a wonderful Sunday and a great start to the week. All right, we'll see you soon. Toodaloo. Bye.